Hi, I'm Casey Okupi. This is the Northwest Comic Show. It's part of the Northwest Comic Fest, which is an awesome comic book convention that has a music fest and film fest and crazy, amazing, very geeked out stuff. So we bring on these people who will be at the fest and others who are just in that realm of geek pop culture and things along those lines. Today we have Adam Gallardo.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Great.
Thanks.
Now, you're extremely awesome. Is that true?
That's what I tell people.
That's what you tell people?
Yeah.
No, actually, I'm basing all of this off what I'm seeing right here. So it looks, what do you do?
Well, the reason you have me on the show is that I'm a writer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but you
I do lots of
things.
other stuff. I work a day job at a bookstore. I'm a dad.
Nice.
This is like probably what I spend the least amount of time every week doing, but it's one of the things I love best.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you love your writing here. And so we have a bunch of books here that you wrote. I'm going to look at one right now.
Okay.
Star Wars Omnibus. Infinities, right?
Yes,
right.
correct.
I'm going to show that off. So, let me see. So you wrote this?
So this is a collection of 3 books.
Okay.
3. I was doing 2. 3. And I did one of the books in that omnibus. So it's the Star Wars Infinities. Do you remember Marvel What If?
Of course.
Of course. So Infinities is like Marvel What If, for the Star Wars set. Yeah. So the original trilogy, 3 different writers took, the core idea, change one thing, and then explore how that would change the rest of the story.
Sure, like a butterfly effect thing.
Exactly,
huh?
exactly. And I got to do Return of the Jedi.
Wow.
Yeah.
You did the Return. And can I ask you, what changed?
Sure.
All right.
Okay, so you remember they're in Jabba's palace.
Uh-huh.
Leia comes in disguised as a bounty hunter with Chewbacca in tow. And there's a point where she's negotiating with Jabba and they need C-3PO as a translator.
Yes, that's right, because he knows a lot of languages.
Right, he knows a million languages.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a point in the movie where in translating something that Leia has said, he makes Jabba unhappy and Jabba hits him and kind of knocks him off the stage they're on.
Yeah.
And in the book, Jabba hits him a little bit harder and actually knocks him off the stage and his head rolls off under something and he can't continue translating. And so the negotiation just like deteriorates. Okay. Leia already has the thermal detonator out. And that actually ends up going off and destroying Jabba's palace.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what he gets. He's violent.
Exactly.
Towards robots.
That's right.
We don't condone
that.
We don't condone violence towards robots on this show. So, okay, and so there's a lot of other books here that you've done.
Yeah.
Gear School.
Gear School is so I did the Star Wars comic with Dark Horse Comics. Of course, they had the license for a long time.
Yeah.
And based on that, I was invited to submit some ideas for my own comic book, and Gear School is the one that the editor picked. The editor wanted to do a line of books aimed at kids, so like middle grade age kids, that were going to be sci-fi oriented.
Okay.
And so this is basically like Mobile Suit Gundam meets Degrassi High.
Wow. Yeah, I think when my son gets older, I imagine he'll want to read this.
How old is he?
7.
Yeah, I have my oldest just turned 7, and he's read these a couple times.
Has he?
So yeah, there's nothing too, too offensive in there.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now, how did you start writing? Like, was it like did you start a journal or something? How did that start?
Oh, that far back?
Yeah, all the way back then.
I have always written.
Always.
Yeah, I can't remember a time that I wasn't writing. Like, as soon as I learned how to read and write, like, that's what I would do. I was the kid who, in school, if there was a homework assignment, I would try and find some way to make it so that I could write a story to fulfill that homework assignment.
Wow, that would be to some kids very weird to like figure out like these obscure extra ways to make it more.
Right.
But for you, you enjoy it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I've heard this quote. I can't remember who said it, but there's this quote that says, "Becoming a professional writer is like giving yourself homework every night."
Oh,
And that's
yeah,
true
see?
to some extent, but it's homework that I like a lot, so I don't mind doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I've always journaled, like you said. I've always journaled. I've always written little stories and poems. And when I was in college, I tried to get some of those published and never had any luck.
Well, I think this is cooler.
Right. Well, and comics was my first. Actually, the Star Wars comic, that was my very first piece of professional writing ever.
Wow.
Yeah. And the way that happened is I worked at Dark Horse Comics. I was in production. I was on the production side of things. And one of the things I did was answered email from fans.
Mm-hmm.
And we had done the first two Infinities. We'd done New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. And a year or more had gone by and we hadn't done Return of the Jedi yet. And so we kept getting people asking, when are you going to do Return of the Jedi? And I didn't know the answer. So I went down one day to the editor and I asked him, and he said, tell them that when we get a story we like, we'll publish it. Because apparently they had asked a lot of professional writers to supply stories and they hadn't liked any of them. And so I went home that night and, popped my VHS copy of Return of the Jedi into the VCR, and I figured out what point would work best. And I went and pitched it, and he asked me to write it up.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was nice. And
That's really cool.
I thought at best they're going to like buy the story from me and have some professional writer do it.
Oh yeah, rewrite it.
Yeah, which would be fine.
Uh-huh.
Getting paid anything to write something would be nice. But and then actually it went so long that I didn't hear anything from Lucasfilm that I just thought, oh, they hated it, and the editor is being nice and not telling me about it. But no, about 6 months went by, and then Randy called me into his office and basically said, like, why haven't you written that script yet? and so I got to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a great thing to have be my first piece of writing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of people who want to do this, right, for, say, Dark Horse or any major label or company. What do you have for advice for them? Because you've clearly done several pieces here.
Right. I was on a panel up at a Portland convention a couple of years ago, and the panel was all about how you broke in to writing comics. And every single person on that panel, whether they were, like in the company already, or they just happened to meet someone in a convention, it's that they met an editor. The editor like clearly expressed a need that they had, and then that you went and you supplied that need. So I think the best thing for young writers is to go to a lot of conventions, somehow, and I would suggest going and meeting editors and not being a total mercenary about it, but like meeting them and getting to know them so that they want to talk to you and know you as a person. And then they'll, at some point, I'm sure they'll express something they need, and you try and supply that need.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Make yourself inexpendable.
Correct.
Make them need you.
Yeah.
That's good thinking. We have so many different comic book publishing companies around here, and then just tons of independent ones around here too.
Right.
I could just think of so many Corrosive Comics and Warrior Innkeeper, and just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, and once you get up to Portland, it's crazy. You can't throw a rock without hitting someone who works in comics.
Yeah, and then they get really upset too, because you shouldn't be throwing.
But they're in
rocks at
comics, so what can
people.
they do about it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, now you have this these zombie books here. Zomburbia. Is that right? Am I saying
Correct.
that right?
Zomburbia.
Zomburbia. Okay. And Zombified.
Yep.
Let's grab Zomburbia, if I may ask you.
Sure.
Cool. All right. Now, is this the first one between the two?
That is the first.
Oh. Yeah. Now, Sheila, this is beautiful. Okay. Now, what is this book about?
So it's where am I?
Oh, it's right there.
So this is about a zombie apocalypse that never turned too apocalyptic.
Oh.
Where zombies came back and they made things, terrible for a while.
It's a nice mid-level apocalyptic thing.
Right. But it's years after the dead came back, and zombies are still around, but people have figured out a way to kind of live, not with them, but, it's like if somehow there were wild dogs in town. Like, you'd figure out a way to get to work, even though you might come across some
living
wild
in a
dogs.
bad neighborhood.
Exactly. There's that. And so, there's lots of gated communities. And if you're not rich enough to live in a gated community, you buy some chain link fence and put that around your house, and that kind of thing.
Well, let's read your book.
Oh, sure. Okay, sure.
Let's go ahead and let's read it, or at least we'll check out part of it. How about that?
Yeah. So this is going to be just a short excerpt.
Okay.
So this is a scene where the main character is a 16-year-old girl named Courtney. And she's riding her bike home after having a study group with some friends over the protests of this boy who was there, who wanted to give her a ride, and she's stubborn, got angry at him.
Women.
And
I'm just kidding.
People. I'd say people.
People. Darn people.
And he was worried about what might happen to her. So now she's right. Oh, and did I mention it set in Salem?
Wow, and we're in Salem right now.
That's right.
That's an awesome coincidence.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if we encounter it in this bit, but you might see street names that you recognize.
Nice.
All right. I started thinking about how I would tell off Brandon the next time I saw him. I'd start by pointing out I was very much alive and intact and in no way eaten by any stupid shufflers. Then I'd ask where he got off, assuming I couldn't take care of myself. I'd probably been through more attacks than him and could handle myself better. I nearly let out a scream when I rounded a corner and saw someone on the sidewalk. I was just a few blocks from home by that point and was really not expecting anyone to be out, especially not on foot. It was a woman, and I relaxed a little when I saw she had her hands on her swollen belly. Geez, what was a pregnant lady doing out here by herself after dark? "Hey," I called out, "are you okay?" I swerved the bike toward the curb, and she turned more swiftly than I thought possible, her yellow teeth bared, her desiccated hands outstretched. I tried to maneuver the bike away from her, overcorrected, and toppled over. The next thing I knew, my cheek was pressed against the asphalt. That was going to hurt like a bitch later, if there was a later. My legs tangled in the bike, and I felt panic setting in, my breath coming fast and shallow. I forced myself to slow down my breathing and to actually look at my legs. It only took a second after that to get them free and under me. But by that time, the zombie had made it into the street and bore down on me. I swung my bag around and toward the zipper. My pistol. I needed my pistol. I could hear the zombie right behind me, her shuffling steps so loud despite my ragged breath. There wasn't enough time. Why did I have so much crap in my bag? Why couldn't I find the pistol? It was the only gun-shaped object in there. I became dimly aware of a rustling from the bushes behind me. Great, the expectant shuffler brought friends, probably her baby daddy. My hand wrapped around the pistol's grip just as I felt the zombie's hand fall on my shoulder. I heard a loud thud and felt a jolt travel up the zombie's arm. Her grip dropped away from my shoulder, and she fell to the ground beside me. A couple of guys in camo and face paint stood there with homemade weapons. "Phil?" I yelled.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
That was really cool. We have a very small audience. Well, we're going to have to wrap up, but based on that, I totally get the Salem vibe in there.
Yeah.
I feel it. Because that kind of thing happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, so I'd recommend buying and reading your books.
Sure.
Wouldn't you?
I would highly recommend it.
It's a great idea.
They're all available on Amazon.
Yeah, well, where can people get more information about all of this?
I do have a website,
Yeah?
which is adamgallardo.com.
AdamGallardo.com.
Very easy to remember.
Okay.
And all of my books are available on Amazon or any other e-retailer, and they're also a lot of them are available at the Book Bin here in town.
So Google you and all that stuff, and check out your website. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to come back with Vagabond right soon, here in a moment. Thanks. Yay!
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, we're back with Vagabond, and it's great that you can be here, Dean and Alvin. Right? How you guys doing?
Good.
Fantastic.
Very well.
Sweet. That's excellent. So, now, what do you gentlemen do?
We brew beer.
You brew beer.
We have a brewery here in Salem.
Okay. You know what I like about your beer? I like that you name it silly fun things.
We're very serious about our beer names.
Oh, okay. I take
I'm
all
just
of
kidding.
that back.
We just name
What are the names of some of your
3
beers?
beers a week.
We have the Tack Owl.
Yep.
And what is that based on?
It's loosely based on owl in Bush Park
Nice.
that attacked people,
Yep.
It takes their hats.
right?
Apparently.
And you're wearing a hat, and
That's
that's
true.
despite the owl.
It's
Nice.
solidarity.
Yeah.
For hat wearers across America.
Okay. Now, what other fun beer names do you have?
What's something ridiculous?
Hop your socks off.
Hop your socks off. It's a
our-
bit silly.
Double IPA has so many hops that your socks come off.
Okay. See, and I think that's fun. I think that these names are fun. Now, you guys like pop culture stuff, like comic books, for example, right?
Correct.
We have like 2 metric tons of comic books, I
Yeah.
think. But
Right under 2 metric tons.
yeah.
Right around 2 metric tons of comic books.
One attic full, whatever that measurement is. We have
That is,
a lot of
that's
comic books.
exactly a couple tons. So, that's cool. So you guys are going to be involved with something that's related to comics coming up here soon, the Northwest Comic Fest.
All right, it's going to
Shameless
rock.
plug.
Right.
Huh?
No.
Yeah, it is shameless. It really is.
Yeah, we're excited. I think we're brewing a special beer. We haven't told the brewer yet, but
A special beer? Wow, that sounds spectacular. Yum.
yeah,
All right. So
it'll have a clever name, everything.
Right.
it's going to have a clever name.
It'll be
I like
funny.
it. It gets better and better.
Super Owl.
It's special. It's going to have a clever name. It's beer, right? We all like that
comic related.
when we're old enough to do that. So,
For those of us at
Sorry.
home and of drinking age.
yeah.
I think we're also going to try and find a local artist to do maybe like a label or a print at least to
Oh
release.
wow. I hope the artists are watching. You know, because we're talking about a local artist doing the label. That's
Yeah. We're big into, we love comic books, and we're also big into commissioning labels and posters and art and shirts, things like that. So it's kind of a natural fit for us.
cool. Okay. So how did you get started? What made you want to do this or come up with the idea to make your own beer?
In general or for the fest?
All of it.
All of it?
We'll start with in general.
We like drinking beer. That was
That's a
it.
good
That was
reason.
that was the entire business plan. We said we were in our mid-20s and we want to open a beer factory, and apparently that was acceptable. So
Apparently that was acceptable.
There's a lot of margins on making your own, so
Uh-huh.
we drank so much, we might as well just make our
Yeah.
own.
the,
We
saving-
actually
the
save
savings,
money.
yeah, alone
Nice.
was instantly profitable.
Right.
Okay, that's cool. That's a good reason to do it, I think. So you're in your 20s and you're drinking beer. You're like, this is good. I think I could make this.
Yep.
Something like that. What beer were you enjoying the day that this just sparked?
The
just
original
curious.
beer was
PBR.
yeah. that
We were like, we can make beer better than this.
Okay, cool.
I think we were drinking a Portland Brewing Company
Yeah,
honey beer up
Oregon honey
down
beer.
in San Diego.
Honey stuff. You
Yeah.
looked around. And you're like, this is cool.
We were like, beer tastes good.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what started it. So
Yeah, now there's a lot of places locally in Salem that it seems like there's quite a few that are making beer. Why is that? Do you know?
We're in Oregon.
Yeah, it's Oregon.
Oregon.
It's religion here.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? That's what I think.
Good water, good beer.
Good hops, lots of hops
Yeah,
around
all
here.
the hops come from here. So
Yeah, I think it's very interesting here in Oregon. All these microbreweries. Is that the right terminology for that?
sure.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of that going on, and it's crazy, and it's delicious. I mean, there's a lot of people who you go to the store or whatever, and you pick up some general beer, and I think that doesn't really give people any sort of concept of what's really out there. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
Right.
the majority of the beers you're going to find you can't even get them in stores. So
Yeah.
you got to be, and those are like the gateway beers for the most part. I mean, a lot of them are really good, but you start out there, maybe progress, and start looking around locally, see what's available.
And craft beer is so versatile. You can do fruit beers, you can do hoppy beers, you can do beers that have more malty flavor like stouts. You can
Coffee
do
beers
coffee,
and-
chocolate, and you can go all over with it.
Coffee chocolate stout. I like the sound of that.
Should stop by our place.
Right, we have a coffee chocolate stout.
You have a coffee chocolate stout?
We do indeed.
Shameless plug.
Yeah,
There.
shameless plug.
What?
Go to Vagabond Brewing, drink chocolate coffee stout.
Where is Vagabond Brewing? I'm just curious.
It's on Hyacinth between Salem Parkway and Portland Road, right by the freeway.
So if people want to know more about Vagabond, they should go there on Hyacinth and go there.
Go there.
Yeah.
Right.
Then they'd find out all about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, what is the process? Can I ask, like, from the beginning, like, what are the basics in making beer? 'Cause you guys would know.
We come up with a style, and then we tell the brewer to make it, and it happens.
It
And
just
that's
happens, yeah.
We come in the next week, and there's
And
beer.
drink.
Okay. Well, what is it that happens that just all of a sudden you're all, I want this flavored beer? I mean, are you eating a cookie and you're like, I want a beer that tastes like this?
Occasionally, for the most part, we're a smaller brewery, so we have a lot of flexibility to just say, what if we made a beer with this fruit, or what if we made a beer with whatever, or pumpkins, or a seasonal something, and we just kind of have a bit of the freedom to do that.
And we're so small that if it sucks, we can just dump it out. It's not a big
Nice.
deal.
So how much do you make to test? I'm just curious.
Nothing, we just go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It always works out.
It always works
Yeah.
out?
It always works
What
out.
a great model for
Yeah.
business. So far, I think so far that you've been coming up with ideas and flavors that have actually coincidentally, like, they've been good ideas.
Right.
I think that's what's been happening.
I just don't think we come up with bad ideas.
Yeah.
We just make
That's our business model.
Yeah.
Cut
That's
out bad
page 2
ideas.
of the business plan.
Page 1, make beer.
yeah.
Page 2, don't come up with bad ideas.
It really streamlines the process,
Yeah,
I think.
It does.
Yeah.
It's a streamlining.
The bank loved it. I mean, that was the whole, that's why they gave us money.
Okay. But you guys did a Kickstarter, right?
We
Yep.
did.
Wow.
That was probably 2.5.
It's
It was a
pushing
while
it.
back,
Yeah.
2.5 years ago, something like that.
Successful. We're
Yeah.
not bragging. It was
That went well.
just successful.
Yeah, because following the Kickstarter, it made the goal, and now you're here.
Right.
Now you're on television.
Yeah,
So
we've made it.
you're actually on TV now. So
Cross off community television. Gone.
bam.
Nothing wrong with community television.
No. In fact, there's a lot right about it. I would think.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. But so are you getting a lot of distribution happening?
We were for a while there, and now we sell most of our beer in house. So we're working on bringing in some more equipment and trying to brew a lot more beer.
Oh,
But
that's exciting.
yeah,
Okay.
so if any of our accounts are watching,
Sorry.
sorry, there's no beer to sell you.
It's not you, it's
Yeah,
us.
it's us.
We're just selling a lot of beer.
That sounds like such a rejection. It's not you, it's me kind of
Yeah.
thing. Wow, you're afraid of commitment or something.
We are.
Nice. Well, what's coming up with Vagabond? What kind of new things are in store? People look.
We just got food.
Yeah.
That's a
You
big
ju-
one.
Kitchen
Okay.
opened.
Yeah,
So
kitchen open. We
that's
do
chaos.
a brownie Tillamook ice cream with a coffee stout, chocolate
Yep.
coffee stout, and it's caramelized, so you get like a sugary
That's
chocolate
it. That's
coffee.
the
I
whole,
want to
that's the whole
relive
menu.
what you
That's it.
just said for a minute.
Okay,
So
start with
you
the brownie.
You start with the brownie, and then you put vanilla ice cream on that?
Vanilla bean Tillamook ice cream.
Okay, vanilla bean Tillamook.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're fancying it up. I
Yeah.
like this. So vanilla bean Tillamook ice cream.
And then caramelized
Okay.
chocolate coffee stout.
So you caramelize the chocolate coffee stout. So you like kind of cook it up with some beer, or I mean with some butter or something like that.
We just told chef to do it.
You
and
just
he does it.
say
That's it.
simmer it down, thicken
Yeah.
it up.
Right.
Wow, and you put that over the. Can I tell you what I would like now that I just heard that? I just hypothetically, you don't have to do it. I'm just talking about things that I enjoy. I like milkshakes with beer.
Yep, we got those
Do you have that?
coming up. Yep.
Oh, it's coming up.
For
It's a
summertime.
hypothetical.
We just got the brownie thing sorted, so
Oh, that
Yeah.
took a lot of.
yeah, R&D.
Okay.
We actually did a Kickstarter for that
yeah.
too.
$12.
You know, when you get to the when you get to the milkshake one, I want to be part of the R&D, like the focus group, if I may. I think this was a lot of fun. We're gonna see you guys at Northwest Comic Fest, right?
Absolutely.
So everyone can expect to see Vagabond there and an exciting new beer.
Yep.
And we're going to wrap up the show. It's over. That's it. Thanks for coming.
Thanks everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Yay! How was that? That worked out?
Good.
All right.
There's
That's kinda-
entirely a lot less showings than I anticipated on
Oh.
Community.
We should have done that.
Well, go ahead, do one real quick.
All right. Showing.